fishing down here a little bit ago and caught a couple of pretty nice redbreast sunfish on a creek hopper, and I was getting a lot of strikes, but only caught a couple of fish. So they were kind of nipping at it and not quite getting it. So I'm gonna try lightening it up a little bit with the Bobby Garland itty bit and see if we can get a few more of them to commit all the way. Not quite reaching where I want to with the itty bit on its own, and there's a little bit of current out there, so I'm gonna put this little float on there, give me a little casting weight, a little weighted foam float, and try getting it out there a little bit and let it drift in that current and just kind of dance it a little. It's kind of what I was fishing with the crick hopper. It was twitching it on the surface, so it was kind of buzzing, going along the edge there, coming up and hit it. So we'll see if something drifting below the float catches their attention. That's better. There we go. Drifting in the current. This is another redbreast. Well, those are beautiful fish, aren't they? Love the colors on those. Caught 3 of them now. The other 2 on the crick hopper, and they've all been about the same size. All just really pretty fish. That's fun. Try that same pitch again in case that guy had a buddy. Right up next to that. Twitched it a couple times. Went under. Oh, there he is. Another pretty redbreast. Oh, that one got off. Well, I suppose that one will hit again. He was hooked pretty good. I'm not sure how he came up, but we'll see if he's got a buddy. One thing about various sunfish species, they don't tend to be alone. They don't always hit one after another, but a lot of times there's a few of them hanging together. Caught a few of those this morning and missed that one. They've all been really nice redbreast. Good size fish. Really effective way to catch various panfish. That itty bit is just, that little bite is hard for them to resist, and just drifted it under a float. It gives you a little casting weight to present it where you want, and it just keeps it in the strike zone for them. You can add a little action by just the littlest twitch of the rod brings it to life. Then it'll kind of come up a little when you move it, and then when you pause it, it drops back down. And this looks good though. It's a nice little current out there, and all these little pockets. There's kind of some little picnic areas along here that most of them, there's like little pockets along the bank. There's kind of a little eddy in each one of these, because they kind of because it's a little cut that goes out of the main current, or out of the main flow, and it seems like the fish have been kind of right on that transition line, and kind of the area where it is right now, about where it stops drifting. When I've been hitting some of the other spots, that's where they've hit it, especially if there happened to be any cover that was around that zone. There we go. Got right to the end of that log, right in that transition zone. That's exactly where that one was. That one's not quite as big as some of the others, but still a nice red ear and a redbreast, and just a beautiful fish. Just absolutely love the color on these fish. A lot of fun to catch. With that last fish, it's kind of like he'd read the script. He hit it right about where he was supposed to, but I guess there's a reason for that. Most of the fish have been in that zone, and it really makes sense. You got that current that's going to carry food along, but the fish would rather not fight the current all the time. So when they have the opportunity, they're going to sit just outside that moving water where they can see it going by, but they're not quite in it, especially if there's a little piece of cover they can hold on. There's a log down in the water, and it ends just about where that eddy, the edge of the eddy in the moving water, so it's just a perfect ambush spot, and that's exactly where the last fish hit. Another bobber hit. You ought to see that little itty bit below it. They may be relating to insects falling in the water. We're right out into the trees, maybe even cicadas falling. And they're hitting the top. Got one more rig I'm going to test on these fish before I move along. It's a little tandem rig, so I can do no float. I'm going to keep it moving a little bit more and see if it'll draw a reaction strike. I've got a Bobby Garland hyper grub in the front, and then behind it I've got the same little itty bit that I was fishing underneath the float, and it lets me get it out there a little more and gives them a couple different looks. The hyper grubs and monkey milk. We'll see what they think. Oh, I had one hit it right there, right at the very end. Oh, there we go. Looks like a pretty good one. Oh yeah. Another nice redbreast, and again that was on that fishing the tandem rig, using the weight of 2 jigs, still both very small, but definitely giving me more casting weight. And I've got that little hyper grub, which is what he hit. Get him a little better. Oh, never mind, there he goes. But the hyper grub gives a little bit of casting weight and gets it down in the water column, and then got the itty bit back there too, so they got a couple different options. Oh, there's another one. Pretty much did the same thing again. That one, the first one was on the grub, on the hyper grub, and that one's on the itty bit. So 2 different offerings might pay off. Pretty redbreast sunfish. It's a beautiful fish. It's a lot of fun. Well, I think I'm gonna get on my way. I'm traveling today and was on my way to other places where I'm going to be fishing over the next couple days, and this just caught my eye and didn't have somewhere I needed to be at a real specific time, so figured I'd stop and make a few casts, and started catching those big pretty redbreasts, and one cast led to the next, and ended up catching them 3. Oh, there's one more. Ended up catching. The battery on the other GoPro died while I was reeling in this fish, so I'm gonna let him go, and then I'm gonna take the dying battery as a sign that it is time to get on my way. I'm gonna put him back in the water. I had started to say I just was driving along and on my way to other places, and this little spot caught my eye, and I thought I'd stop and make a few casts, and started catching those redbreast sunfish, real pretty ones, and so I decided to stick around, and one led to the next, and ended up catching several fish. Caught some on a Rebel crick hopper, caught some on a Bobby Garland itty bit, fished underneath the float, just kind of drifting along and twitching it. And then I caught some with the tandem rig. These last few I've caught with the tandem rig with a Bobby Garland hyper grub with the itty bit behind it. Gave me a little more casting weight and let it get down in a little bit deeper as the sun's coming up and we're getting more in the day. But got places I need to get to, so I'm gonna go along the way. And but that was a fun stop.